Hello everyone and welcome. My name is Tim from the Camp Compound and it's time for our daily technical analysis. In front of us we have the Bitcoin US dollar 1 day chart and let's get right to it, shall we? So today is a bit of an interesting day. As we can see, we talked about it yesterday. Bitcoin is still very much within its 45-degree angle, which shows that we're still, technically speaking, in a bullish continuation pattern for the moment. If we do break down, then we'll also have to break the 15,900. We'll probably move fairly quickly towards the range low or the local low of 15,500. Now, if that one breaks, we'll move down to 15,000 and then quite probably towards the 13 and the 12,000. And I hope my cat is not chewing through my camera cable. There we go. Wonderful. So, that being said, we see on the daily of yesterday that it was tested this line fairly well and it was defended. And now today we are moving back up. It would be wonderful if we could close above the high of yesterday. That would be great. Preferably, of course, above the 16,700, but that is quite the challenge for Bitcoin at the moment. However, if we could close above the high of yesterday, that would be a good start. From there on out, we could launch another attack at the 16,700, approximately this area here. So we want to be above the dotted line. Closing, that is. Then we want to have another day as a confirmation above to make sure that we can continue onwards. If that does happen, we will move towards here, this 17,600 approximately right there. Now, that would be a big level. We've been talking about it a lot recently, mainly because there is just not that much happening in the markets. But we need it to break above 17,600 in order to get back into the previous range. As we can see here, that's the range that we've been in since June by now. So soon that will be half a year that we've been around that 17,000 to, well, let's say 16,000 to 20,000 approximately, or 22,000. Anyway, so we'll have to break that 17,600 and then we might just retest 19,000 if that works out. Now what happens from there, we've talked about a couple of times as well. We might break through, but then we'll have to break through this downward trend line as well, or we're still just in consolidation. And above that, we will have to see. That's still very far away. If we do get rejected there, then there's a good possibility of still making a lower low, especially if the miners can keep capitulating. Sorry, lost the word there for a second, because the second wave of minor capitulation has started last week, and that is not great. That generally means that there is more selling pressure on the market, and that is not really what we need right now. On the other hand, there's a lot of accumulation going on still, so at some point this will find an equilibrium and we will start to slowly move back up as miners stabilize, as sellers kind of leave the market and the accumulation continues. Then I would say when we break the 22,000 or the 24,000, people will kind of FOMO in because they feel like they've missed their opportunity to buy cheap and they want to do so as soon as possible. Because of the great amount of accumulation that has happened by then, we will we'll see the price skyrocket up because there will be significantly less Bitcoin on the exchanges that is able to be bought. But one step at a time. First, we will need to break above that 16,700, and if we get rejected, we will move back further down. That is that for Bitcoin. We can have a quick look at the 4-hour where we will see that the price is currently fighting with the two EMAs. We did break above and now we're trying to keep it. If that does happen, there is the possibility of making a higher low here and going for another try at 16,600 to 700. All right, that is that. Let's move on to Ethereum US dollar. Back on the daily chart. Now here we see that Ethereum is relatively strong to Bitcoin. It's doing quite all right for itself. Here we see kind of a similar set up as in Bitcoin with a resistance here over the top of its most recent move and the 45-degree angle downwards. This too was tested, it was defended, and now Ethereum is well on its way on closing above, which is what we would want to see in Bitcoin. We also see that there is a similar resistance here around that 1216 approximately. Why is my shift not working? That's strange. Because my keyboard stopped working. There we go. Anyway, it's about the point here, right? I think it needs a new battery or something. Right? Yeah, definitely. I'll fix that momentarily. Anyway, mouse is enough for now. Ethereum, we also would like to see a close above that 1220 more like, and then we could move on towards this trend line right here, where we have a similar idea as Bitcoin. If Ethereum does manage to reach that, Bitcoin will probably be able to break above its resistance because we see that Ethereum reacts a bit heavier, generally speaking. That being said, the alt market is kind of doing the same thing as Ethereum. DYDX is not looking so great, kind of looking like a decent short if it doesn't break its trend line here. It does look a little interesting around that 68, but currently I'd say the market is a bit too suppressed to really take a proper entry. I would like to wait a little bit more on clarity first. So DYDX could be an interesting short right now, but I would rather wait. It is bouncing decently off of its support for the moment, but not quite breaking through just yet. ADA is really hugging that support. We see that it is kind of falling back as well, so relatively weak to Bitcoin and Ethereum. Wouldn't be surprised if we see another peak below and then maybe a retest to really move towards that 27-28 cents approximately. But so long as it doesn't, this is still a good support. Of course, it will be a strong support until proven otherwise. But that is kind of what I see. What else is there? You could say that maybe there's kind of a move like this going on, and this we could see a bounce towards maybe 38 cents if we don't break through. That is kind of what we're seeing here in ADA. XRD is just having a terrible time at the moment. It's falling quite rapidly, which is a bit of a shame, but that too will pass, I'm certain. AVE is kind of similar to ADA actually, just in what the day looks like. The uptrend is still decent. It's not great, but it's alright. It does keep getting rejected from 63, making me think that we may have to revisit 58.2 again. Might even sweep the lows at 56 approximately. But we'll see. It will definitely depend on what Ethereum and Bitcoin will do over the coming days, because the market will follow, of course. Right now, we just see that there is indecision in the market, and that is really that. Now, what is Matic doing, for instance? Matic is kind of all over the place. We do see the downtrend clearing through here, and that is kind of what we're looking at for Matic for now. It is kind of stuck between this support here at 76, 76.5, as well as 85, let's say. That's kind of what we're looking at currently, with a decent support here at 82. But yeah, it's not something to really get into just yet. I might be tempted to make an entry at 76 or 77, but it is still a little elevated. It would really depend on what the market is looking like at that moment. Let us see. That is kind of the interesting thing that we have currently. Chili's is not really looking so hot. It looks like it might melt through its support depending on where it ends today. The volume is breaking back down again, which is good to see. That means that this may just have been some trend ender volume, and these are just the stragglers. while the bulls are slowly getting their getting themselves back in order. And that is kind of what we're seeing in the market currently, and this is kind of being projected throughout the rest of it. So we're seeing some uncertainty while Bitcoin and Ethereum are hovering around their resistance areas. We want them to break through either one way or the other. Otherwise, we might have to suffer through a capitulation of time. That means that it's just such a boring time for an extended period of time that people just quit. They stop. They're like, we've been at 16,500 for such a long time. I quit. This is it. I'm done. And by that time, the market generally starts moving again. But that can take a while, that can take a couple of months even. So be prepared to sit it out for a bit longer. Generally speaking, the end of the bear market is a bleed out, which means that everything just goes sideways for a longer period of time to test your resolve, to test your patience, and that too will pass. So keep calm, keep relaxed, and keep compounding. And I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye.